Today we're going to talk about running defense in your eBay business and then get into the 11 items that I sold over the weekend, just this past weekend on eBay. We're going to talk about the cost, where I bought the items to give you an idea of the profit that I'm making in my eBay business on this big assortment of items. But before we get into it, my name is Brian and I'm a reseller. I sell on eBay in the everything category. So I sell tools, toys, sporting goods, clothing, hats, pots and pans, you name it. And I'm buying my items at garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores, and Facebook Marketplace. So, and I've got, if you stick around till the very end, I've got a bonus story for you too. So stick around for that. But yeah, so let's talk about running defense in your eBay business. So this is going to mean different things for different people. So whenever I'm talking about things or giving what sounds like advice, this is what I'm doing in my business. It may not work in your business. And I know that sounds silly because we may all be selling on the same platform, but there are so many different ways to succeed on eBay. It is just, it's mind-blowing. And you know, the way people, I'll sell a certain item over and over and other people go, man, I've tried so many times and I can't sell that item. And I've heard that time and time again across different channels on YouTube, different resellers, and I've just seen it myself. So it's very interesting the way it works. And that's really what I love about eBay is there's so many opportunities to do things so many different ways and still succeed. But let's talk about defense a little bit. So a couple weeks ago, it was the week that had Friday, July 4th in it, and my business was pretty slow. Despite being active, I was listing items, I was sending offers, but overall, it was a slow week for me, selling 18 items that week. And now I'm not complaining about 18 items. I'm saying it was slow. There have been weeks where I've sold 6 items, you know, so selling 18, I was okay with, not mad about that at all. But then going into this prior week, the week starting July 7th, ending July 13th, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have the same type of week that I had prior. So the week started off okay, it was slow-ish, and going into the weekend, I had to stop. And there's a couple of things that I think are important to do in your eBay business to make sure that you are having some level of success. Everybody measures success differently, but for me, like over a weekend, I want at least 10 sales over the weekend. To me, that's hitting the level, and then going above is great. But I wrote this down because I was thinking of like, what are the steps that I took? You know, I just did it inherently, so I didn't look at my list and do these steps as I was doing it. But step number 1 is recognizing, you know, the status of your store, and that can be for a week, a month, a quarter, whatever it is, whatever you're looking at. And for me, it was that particular week. So you want to watch kind of the undulations or the heartbeat of your store and what's going on. So recognizing the trend in your store at that time. And then you want to formulate a plan. So what am I going to do about that in my eBay business? Some people go on listing sprees. Some people go on, send a super, super aggressive offers every chance they get. Some people will do store discounts or coupons. It's just a whole variety of things that people will do. And step 3 is to execute. So once you have your plan, you have to put it in place. So you can't go, man, I'm going to send super aggressive store offers and then send everybody, 5% offers on your items, throughout the weekend. I was watching a YouTube channel, and he was talking to just a consumer, but that also buys on eBay. He said, how do you react to eBay offers whenever they come to you? He said, I don't even pay attention to them, at least they're 15% off. And really 30% off was kind of that sweet spot of actually getting interested. So like stopping to make a buying decision at 30% off. That's not 100% true across the board. That's just what that one person told that one person that was doing a YouTube video. But I took that to heart a little bit. So I do send offers sometimes below 15%, but very rarely anymore. If I'm sending an offer out, it's typically 15% or higher. and I get as close to 30% as I can as long as I'm still making money. So you want to execute your plan. You want to make sure you're executing the plan that you set up for yourself. And then number 4, just recognizing that you may win right up front. It's helpful to know that you may win big time with your strategy, but you also may not. You might just fall flat on your face with the strategy that you considered and built and executed. It might not work. But one thing to know is on eBay and life, doesn't matter, just not on eBay exclusively, you either win or you learn. People will say, oh, you failed. You only failed if you didn't learn from what you did and then go back and modify it. So you can only get better. You can either win big right out of the gate, or you can learn from what happened. And just that one instance isn't necessarily a failure. You might run a 20% off store coupon, doesn't work. You run it 2 weeks later, does work. There could be some weird, super weird market conditions, stuff going on in the news. You just keep trying to learn what to do, in that arena, executing plans to build your eBay business. So those are the 4 steps that I went through before I launched my store sale. So I did a discount. I did a store discount. I did not do a coupon. Coupons will show a $10 item as $10, and it'll say apply a 20% off coupon, which is fine. I know that's $8. A lot of people watching probably know that's $8. But there's a lot of people that just, my wife, super, super, super smart person. Super smart. Way smarter than me. And when we go look at something and she sees something on sale, especially when we're clothes shopping, she likes to go to TJ Maxx because there's really cool stuff, really great prices. And whenever she hits the clearance rack, she goes, or if, I guess it's not the clearance rack, because they usually have the price. I guess it's on something that might have a discount on it. But she'll see that and she'll go, is 55% off? What's 55% off of $10? In my head, I was like, what's $4.50? So there's things that I spit out numbers really fast. Being in sales for a number of years, I had to be able to spit out prices for people really fast because we dealt a lot in, $22.43. And they wanted to know what the price was whenever it was 28% off. So I wasn't always exact to the number, but I could give people, usually within about 10 cents, 20 cents of the price, just off the top of my head. So for me, it's just kind of built in whenever I'm doing that. For a lot of people, though, that's not a built-in thing. They're not doing the math that fast. And I think if you can't grab somebody's attention with that final price and show them right up front, I think it's a little bit tougher for people to make a fast buying decision. So I prefer the discount method. So I'll run a 30% discount. And if it's $10, it shows them that the item is now $7. And originally it was $10 with a strike through on the price. That's the way I prefer to do it. People do it lots of different ways. Works lots of different ways for different people, but that's just the way I prefer to do it. So Thursday morning, I recognized that I did not have a stellar week so far. It was okay, but going into the weekend, I knew, the weekend was about here, and I didn't want to crash and burn over the weekend. I hadn't listed very many items last week, maybe 8 to 12 items, and I didn't plan on listing more items on Thursday or Friday. I had a lot of stuff going on at home projects, family stuff that were keeping me away from eBay last week. So I just wanted to protect against having a crash and burn weekend. So my idea was, I haven't had a store sale in a while. I'm going to put a store sale up. And I actually kicked it off Thursday morning, and I sold a couple items on Thursday on the sale. But I set up a 30% off sale on clothing, hats, a bunch of mugs I have down here, and then a few different odds and ends, which, going throughout Thursday and all through the weekend, I had tons and tons of people, eligible offers to send out on the items that were on sale. I started getting a lot of activity on those items right away. And then that also prompted eBay to put more of my items in front of people. So I had lots of items coming into that offer eligible section that were not on sale that then I could send offers out on and get potential sales, and I did. So there was, I don't know, I'm looking at 2, 3, 4 items out of the 11 that sold last weekend that I got from sending offers out to folks, which was awesome. It's a pretty high percentage actually for total sales made from an offer that I sent out, not an offer that the buyer sent me. So I think, last weekend I ended up with 11 sales. I wanted to make at least 10, so I felt pretty good about that. But, some people might not feel good until they hit 40. It's all kind of subjective to your particular expectations in your business. So that's how I played defense last week. I knew I was having an okay week. I didn't want to end it horribly over the weekend, and I put a store sale in place to make sure that I had sales coming in over the weekend because I wasn't listing new items. I wasn't doing anything else like that to generate interest in my store. I'm not saying to do that. Just do something else. You may decide to set aside 5 or 6 hours and go list 30 items to generate interest in your store. I didn't have the time to do that last week, but it might be in the cards for you. You may be sending super aggressive offers. That could be a way to do it. So there's lots of different ways to generate interest in your store, and you just got to find out what works for you. That's enough of my soapbox speech for today, for this week. Now let's get into the 11 items that sold over the weekend. The weekend for me is Friday, kind of mid-morning, after I'm done shipping orders through Sunday night. I did have an order come in that originally I was thinking, maybe I'll just ship it on Monday, but then I was like, let me look at the order. So I got in my car to go to the post office and take my shipments from Thursday. And as I was in my car about to leave, an offer came through. I countered it, and then right away they accepted my counter offer. And I was like, do I go back and ship it? Do I wait? What do I do? And so I opened the order up and I looked, and it was actually a viewer on the channel. So Drake from Goose Creek, South Carolina, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. I think you got a pretty good deal on those Torx drivers from Craftsman, but I was like, man, I can't leave Drake till Monday. Can't do that. So got out of the car, came back, got them shipped out and off to the post office. So I'm not going to be able to hold those up. Just imagine that right here, there's a set of 5 Torx drivers, vintage from Craftsman, made in USA, really nice set. I picked those up at an estate sale for $5.50, and I sold them for $20 plus shipping, headed out to South Carolina. So should be there pretty fast. And again, Drake, if you're seeing this, I really appreciate the support, and it's really nice of you to make a purchase. Thank you. So that was the first thing that sold over the weekend. And then soon after, other sales started coming through. I sold this pair of Wrangler. Do I have those upside down? No. Wrangler. These are the 20X line, Wrangler 20X competition pants. I picked them up because it was an odd size and the sell-through rate was decent. It goes around 50 to 75%. These are a 38 inch inseam. Those are some long legs. But picked those up at Goodwill for $10.50 and sold them for $20.92 plus shipping on a 30% off store sale. Next item that sold is a mug. I thought this would have sold faster because it's pretty cool, but this is a Wilton mug. It's Wilton Solid Brass is Wilton Brass Company is the company. It's got the paperwork inside of it for the mug. It's a collectible. I picked this up for 20 cents at an estate sale. It's got Georgetown, Colorado right there on the front. Looks like it's a centennial celebratory mug. And yeah, it's a cool, really cool piece. I picked it up for 20 cents and I ended up selling it for $6.92 plus shipping on the 30% off store sale. Next up, we've got these Rock Revival. So these are men's jeans. I don't remember what the size on these are. It's a fairly common size, but these have the big buttons and the flaps and all the stuff, heavy stitching. But if you notice there, it's missing the K. ROC and the K is gone, which I pointed out, and I listed these lower to begin with because that was missing. And I was like, some people may really care about that. So I sold them for probably about $15 less than you'd buy a pair on eBay. On the store sale, the price came down. Somebody sent me an offer. I sent an offer back, and we agreed on $25 plus shipping. So I paid $2 for them and sold them for $25 plus shipping. And if somebody doesn't care about that K being missing, they got a heck of a deal on these pants. I mean, a heck of a deal at $25 plus shipping. And I still made great money, great profit margin. Really happy about that. Next up is this camera tripod. The brand is Bogen, B-O-G-E-N, which at some point, there's the brand right there, at some point was purchased by Manfrotto. So the listings that I saw said Bogen Manfrotto, which is what I listed it for. If anybody's into camera gear at all, you've heard the name Manfrotto, probably you know that it is very high-end gear for cameras and does really well. I picked that one up at an estate sale for $5, and I sent it out the door for $59.89 plus shipping. There was a big video camera off to the side with that, and I looked at the video camera, I'm like, this is not worth, the video camera was $10. And so if it was all together, I was gonna do that. But I asked him, I said, hey, does this tripod come with the video camera for $10? Or, cause I don't see, it was like kind of laying like near it, but not right beside it. So I didn't see a price on this, and I wasn't sure if it went with the camera. If that was the case, I was gonna buy all of it and just sell the camera out cheap for parts. But they said, how about just $5 on the tripod? So snatched it up because I really wasn't interested in the camera. It really wasn't high value. So I was happy to get it, and I saw some sold comps and knew it'd sell. So $5 into $60 plus shipping is a heck of a deal. Next up was the bestseller of the weekend. I have them all wrapped up so you can't see them, but it's a set of Adams Idea irons. These are the high launch irons. They have a senior flex shaft by, I'm going to say it wrong, but Aldila, A-L-D-I-L-A, and they're overall in great shape. I picked them up at a garage sale for $10. It's a 5-through pitching wedge, so it's a complete set. Picked them up for $5 and sold them for $100. No, did I say 10? Picked them up for $10. Picked them up for $10 in an estate sale. I'm getting my notes mixed up here. I bought them for $10 at a garage sale and sold them for $100.43 plus shipping. So that's a nice one. I had them listed, I think at like $149 or $199. I don't remember what I had them listed at, but I've been sending offers out and sold them for $100.43. Next item is a personal item. So I picked these up. My son picked these out at the Converse store. We were at the Converse outlet, and he picked these out. And after trying them on, he had them sitting in his room for a couple of months, and then he tried them on. He's like, I don't like those. They don't fit. They don't feel good on my foot, and I'm probably not going to wear them. So I decided to throw them up on eBay. I've had them listed for probably about 3 or 4 months. I don't remember what they cost. I feel like they probably cost somewhere around 25 or 30 bucks. We don't tend to buy shoes like that unless they're, pretty inexpensive. Just because they're only going to get worn occasionally. They're not going to be a primary shoe. So I think they probably cost 25 or 30 bucks. I sold them on an offer for $35 plus shipping. Somebody sent me an offer. I had them listed for $39.89 plus shipping. They sent me an offer for $35. I was glad to take it, get them sent out the door. Those were not on the store sale. I didn't have shoes on the store sale. Next item is this Cuisinart blade. I think this is the last piece out of the last food processor I listed. I've had this blade sitting around. I had a cost attached to that of $1.70 because I usually buy them for a certain amount and break them all apart, sell them in parts. So I've got $1.70 into the blade, and I sold it for $9.89 plus shipping. And the last piece of clothing, this is a Lincoln Welding shirt, jacket. It's a lot more lightweight material. It's not that super heavy denim, but my dad picked this up at a garage sale for 10 bucks, and we were both shocked that it wasn't worth a little bit more, but I ended up selling it. I think I listed it for $24.89. I sold it on the store sale for $17.42 plus shipping. Might have had it at $22.89. But in any case, sold it for $17.42 plus shipping. So not amazing profit, but getting the money back out and gonna get that money reinvested into more items. Happy about that. Number 10 is this BASF Systems cassette tape holder. You can set it on a table, or it's got holes in the back. You can mount it on a wall. Really cool piece. I picked this up at an estate sale with a bunch of cassettes in it. There's like a dozen sealed blank cassettes in there mixed with some others. I sold that bundle already for $20, the blank cassettes, and then listed this separately. So I had it listed a little bit higher because I saw one sold comp for it in the last like 3 or 4 months, but I ended up selling it on an offer that I sent out to somebody, and they took it. So I paid $5 for this, and they paid $28.72 plus shipping. I bought it at an estate sale. So it was hanging on the wall, had a bunch of cassettes. It said cassettes, $1 each, I think is what it said. It was half off day, and I went in and I think it was, trying to think here. So there's a bunch of cassettes. There was nothing written on the holder. And so I grabbed one of the people working there. I said, hey, question for you. Actually, what I did is I took it off the wall. Took it off the wall with all the cassettes in it. I said, I saw a price on these cassettes, but the holder didn't have a price on it. What would you sell the whole thing for? And they looked at it and they go, how about 10 bucks? It's like, great. So that was a net $10. It wasn't $10. Before the half off. They just did the whole thing for $10, put a price on it, and that's what I paid. So $5 for that. Sold it for $28.72 plus shipping. Happy about that. And then the last item, this is a cool little item I picked up at my local Goodwill, is a Rival Potpourri crock pot. This is a bigger one. They have some smaller ones that sell a lot better that you could like set on a desk at work or something like that. But this is a Potpourri crock pot, decent sized. I didn't put potpourri in it to test it, but I did plug it in, and I put my hand down there to feel it, and it got really warm. So I know that it works. I picked it up for $4.50, and I sold it for $18.61 plus shipping on an offer. And that's it for the weekend. 11 sales. Glad to have them going out the door. Happy about the weekend. And super optimistic heading into this week. I've got lots of great stuff to list, and I'm just ready to go. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down in the comment section below, and I'll make sure and get right back to you. And until next time, have a great day.